The Galactic Council Hall on planet Varelis was one of the most powerful places in the galaxy. Inside this great hall, leaders from 22 alien species gathered around a long round table. Bright blue lights floated above them, showing star maps and military routes. But today the council was not calm. Today they were angry and a little confused. The reason was simple: humans. For years, the galaxy believed humans were nothing special. They were polite, quiet, and always spoke in soft voices. They avoided fights whenever possible. They always sent messages with words like please, thank you, and we request peaceful contact. To many alien species, humans looked weak, too emotional, too humble, too calm. And calmness in the galaxy was often mistaken for weakness. Counselor Voreth slammed his clawed hand on the table. These humans, he shouted, they never show power. They never raise voice. They talk as if they are soft creatures. How can we trust a species that hides its true strength? Several council members nodded. Zelok, a tall insect-like alien, clicked his mandibles. They smile too much. They say sorry too much. It is strange behavior. It makes them look harmless. A deep laugh echoed across the room. General Karaz, commander of the Varelis Defense Fleet, stood up. His heavy armor made loud metal sounds as he walked. Humans are not a danger, he said confidently. They are peaceful by nature. If we push them a little, they will bend. If we deny them space, they will move away. The council members murmured in agreement. For years, the galaxy had slowly taken more and more human trade routes. They blocked human passage. They taxed human ships unfairly. Yet humans never reacted with anger. They responded with polite messages, calm voices, and soft warnings. See, General Karaz said proudly. They never fight back. They only talk. But at that exact moment, the giant star map above the table turned red. A hologram activated. A robotic voice said, "Alert! Human vessel entering restricted Varelis sector." The entire room fell silent. A human ship, in forbidden space? This was unusual. Humans were careful creatures. They followed rules. They respected borders. They never entered dangerous regions unless they had no choice. Counselor Voreth spoke first. What does the ship want? A screen appeared. A calm human voice echoed through the speakers. Greetings, Varelis Council. This is the human exploration ship Harmony's Light. We request safe passage through your sector. We mean no harm. The council room exploded with noise. They dare enter our space? They ask permission instead of retreating? Is this a new human trick? General Karaz raised his hand. Calm yourselves. Humans always speak politely. They are probably lost. We will deny the request. He pressed a button and replied firmly. Human vessel Harmony's Light. Access denied. Turn around immediately. The human ship responded after a short pause. Understood. But we cannot turn around safely. Ion storms behind us make retreat dangerous. We only ask for temporary passage. Again the voice was polite. Come. Without fear. General Karaz felt insulted. No, he answered sharply. You will stop engines and wait. We will send a boarding team to check your ship. There was a long silence from the human side. Then a soft reply. We recommend you do not attempt that. The council laughed. Zelok said, They recommend? How cute. General Karaz smiled proudly. They think we fear them. But they have no power. He turned to his officers. Send 3 ships. Surround them. Prepare boarding units. The officers saluted and left. Inside the human ship Harmony's Light, Captain Dean Hale watched the alien ships approach on his screen. His crew felt the tension rising, but the captain remained calm. His voice was steady. They are making a mistake, he said quietly. But we must follow protocol. He sent one more message to the Varelis fleet. We request peaceful resolution. Do not attack. We will defend only if forced. But on Varelis, the council took this as a sign of weakness. General Karaz laughed loudly. They still speak softly. They still beg for peace. They are afraid. But then, something changed. A sensor officer suddenly stood up, eyes wide. General, we detect unknown signatures behind the human ship. How many? Karaz asked. The officer swallowed. 10, no 12, no more. They are fast. Very fast. Too fast. The council chamber went silent again. Zelok clicked nervously. What ships are those? The officer's voice shook. We do not know. They are not human. They are not ours. They are invisible on our scanners. Another alarm beeped. Sir, The officer shouted again. New detection. Extreme speed objects approaching from deep space. The counselors felt a sudden cold fear inside their chests. General Karras stared at the map. These readings, they make no sense. The officer whispered. They are coming from Earth's direction. A final message arrived from the human ship. Come. Polite. Virilis fleet. We advise you to stand down. Reinforcements are arriving. Please do not escalate this situation. The council froze. Reinforcements? From humans? But the readings were real. Unknown objects were closing in at impossible speeds. The last line of the message chilled every alien in the room. We repeat, this is your final warning. Do not attack. But General Karras, proud and stubborn, ignored it. He raised his hand. Prepare to fire. And that was the moment the galaxy began to understand its greatest mistake. General Karras stood tall at the center of the command hall. His eyes were fixed on the red hologram showing the human ship, Harmony's Light. 3 Virilis destroyers had already formed a tight circle around it. Their weapons were fully charged. Fire at will, Karras ordered. The council members watched with proud smiles. They expected the human ship to panic, to send desperate messages, to beg for mercy. But instead, the human ship said nothing. No fear. No anger. No reply. Just silence. It was the kind of silence that made the stomach twist. The first Virilis destroyer launched a glowing plasma burst straight toward the human vessel. The second and third ships followed, firing streams of blue energy. Inside Harmony's Light, Captain Hale watched the incoming attacks on his display. His crew members tensed, expecting him to shout orders. But he didn't shout. He simply spoke in a gentle tone. Activate defensive protocol. Stage 1 only. Stage 1? Stage 1 meant a warning, not an attack. A thin white barrier shimmered around the human ship. The first plasma burst hit the shield, then vanished without even a sound. The counselors on Virilis blinked in confusion. Did they block it? Zelok asked in disbelief. General Karras' jaw clenched. Fire again. More shots blasted through space, hitting the shield again and again. But the human ship didn't move an inch. The shield didn't even flicker. It stood there, calm and unmoving, like a stone in the middle of a storm. Then something strange happened. The lights inside the council chamber dimmed. The star map above the table flickered. A deep robotic voice echoed across the room. Warning. High-velocity objects entering battle zone. General Karras turned to the sensor officer. What objects? The officer's hands shook as he worked the controls. They're human, I think. But I've never seen human ships like this. The counselors leaned forward. How many? Foreth demanded. The officer stared at the numbers on his screen as they kept rising. 1, 3, 10, no, 20 ships. Small and fast. Too fast for our scanners to track. One of the counselors whispered. I thought humans only had slow exploration ships. Zelok added, voice trembling. What are these new ships? The officer swallowed the fear stuck in his throat. They look like hunters. The room went silent. Hunters? That was a dangerous word. A hunter ship meant precision, speed, and silence, designed to strike with absolute accuracy. Designed to kill quickly. But the galaxy believed humans didn't build hunter ships. Humans were too gentle. Too polite. Too peaceful. Yet now, 20 human hunter-class vessels surrounded the battlefield. Inside Harmony's Light, Captain Hale watched the new human ships arrive on his screen. His voice was still soft. Reinforcements are here, he said. Begin protective formation. Not aggressive formation. Protective. They weren't here to conquer. They were here to stop a war. But the Virilis destroyers didn't understand that. General Karras banged his fist on the table. They brought warships into my sector. They think they can threaten us. He faced his officers. All ships, prepare for full engagement. Destroy them all. The Virilis fleet, over 50 ships, powered their weapons. Inside the human hunter ships, the crews prepared their systems silently. No shouting. No chaos. Only calm voices like people performing a routine job. Human Pilot 1. Target locks ready. Human Pilot 2. Tracking hostiles. Human AI. Recommend non-lethal first strike for deterrence. Captain Hale nodded. Proceed. But keep it clean. A single word echoed through the human comms. Execute. What happened next was too fast for Virilis' eyes to follow. 20 human hunter ships disappeared in a flash of light. Then, boom. The first Varelis destroyer lost its engines in an instant. Not destroyed, just disabled with perfect precision. Boom. The second destroyer lost its weapons. Then the third. Then the command ship. Then 10 more. All without a single human ship being touched. The alien council stared in silence at the battlefield. How? Someone whispered. How are humans firing so fast? How are they this accurate? Why did we never see these ships before? The sensor officer answered with a shaking voice. Because they never used them. Ever. Not even in old wars. A realization spread through the council like cold poison. Humans were never weak. Humans were never soft. Humans simply chose peace, because they didn't need war. They were not afraid to fight. They were just polite enough to avoid it. The human ships fired again, only disabling shots. Never killing. Always controlled. Captain Hale sent one final message to the Varelis fleet. Come, gentle. But carrying the weight of a hidden monster. This is your last chance. Stop attacking. We will not harm you unless forced. Please stand down. General Karras stared at the screen shocked. This is impossible. But it was real. And for the first time in the history of the Varelis Council, they understood they had made a terrible mistake. General Karras stood frozen, unable to believe what he was seeing. The entire Varelis fleet, ships that took years to build and train, was being disabled in minutes. Not destroyed. Not blown apart. Just removed from the battle with perfect surgical strikes. It was as if the human ships knew exactly where every wire, every engine core, and every weapon circuit was located. Karras, what are we facing? Counselor Voreth whispered. The general had no answer. The command room lights flickered as the battlefield updates came in. 14 ships disabled. 6 ships losing control. Human vessels untouched. Human fire accuracy, 99.7%. The sensor officer looked pale. Sir, they could have destroyed all our ships. But they did not. They only hit engines and weapons. Zelok's mandibles clicked nervously. That means they are holding back. Another officer stepped forward, voice weak. General, this is not war. This is teaching. Those words cut deeper than any weapon. On the human ship. Aboard the human flagship Silent Spear, Captain Dana Mercer watched the battle from a holographic display. Her face was calm, expression almost gentle, completely opposite of what aliens expected from a commander leading a war engagement. Her voice was soft. Status. Multiple enemy ships disabled, the tactical officer replied. No fatalities. No hull breaches on their side. Good, Mercer said. We keep it clean. We show discipline. Human officers worked quietly, every movement precise, every command calm. This was not a crew in panic. This was a crew trained for one thing. Strike with absolute control. Strike with precision. Strike only when needed. Mercer turned to her AI assistant. Horizon predictions? The AI responded in a smooth tone. Enemy fleet morale collapsing. Enemy commander issuing confused orders. Probability of escalation still high. Mercer sighed softly. They still don't understand. Back on Varelis, General Karras paced in circles, sweat gathering on his forehead. This is impossible, they cannot have ships this advanced. Humans were explorers, not warriors. Counselor Voreth replied shakily. Maybe we misjudged them. Zelok added. Maybe they were explorers because they never needed warships, until now. The sensor officer looked up suddenly. General. New human transmission incoming. Put it on screen, Karras ordered. The main display brightened. Captain Mercer appeared, calm eyes, calm voice, calm posture. The politeness in her expression made the entire alien council feel a strange, cold fear. Varelis command, she said gently, your ships are now unable to continue combat. We advise ending this conflict before someone gets hurt. General Karras gritted his teeth. You attack us and tell us to end the conflict? We are not attacking, Mercer corrected softly. We are stopping you from harming our people. The calmness in her voice felt like a threat. A polite threat. A deadly, elegant warning. Why didn't you destroy our ships? Zelok asked suddenly. We do not destroy unless there is no other option, Mercer replied. Human policy is clear. Precision before power. Protection before destruction. The council exchanged fearful looks. Humans were not fighting with rage. Humans were not shouting. Humans were not emotional. They were methodical. And that was far more terrifying. The galaxy watches. Across nearby systems, alien communication channels exploded with messages. Human hunter ships spotted. They disabled a fleet without casualties. They fight quietly, too quietly. Entire planets began updating their threat assessments. Humans were no longer ranked as a low-risk, soft diplomatic species. They now stood under Category, Red. Designation, Precision Strike Civilization. Status, Extremely Dangerous. Kara's last mistake. General Karas slammed his hand on the table. No. I refuse to surrender to a species that hides behind soft voices. He hit the emergency override. Every remaining Varellus ship received a forced order. Fire all weapons. Full power. No restraint. Council members screamed. Karas, stop. You will kill our crews. You will trigger a war we cannot win. But it was too late. The remaining ships launched a desperate barrage toward the human fleet. Inside the silent spear, alarms flashed. Tactical, enemy volley incoming, the officer said. Mercer didn't panic. She simply nodded. Stage 3, she said calmly. The room went silent. Stage 3 was not defensive. Stage 3 was not a warning. Stage 3 meant neutralize the enemy completely. Execute, Mercer ordered softly. Human hunter ships vanished in bursts of light. 3 seconds later. Boom, boom, boom. Every Varellus ship still active lost its engines. Then its shields. Then its weapon systems. Then even its communication arrays. Total silence. Total defeat. Done in less time than it took most alien species to fire a second shot. The lesson begins. The Varellus Council stared at the now empty battlefield. No explosions. No destroyed ships. No debris. Just a silent human formation floating like a patient predator. Then came the final message. We ask you again politely, Captain Mercer said, please stand down. There is no need for more harm. This time even Karas had no strength left to speak. He finally understood. The entire galaxy did. Humans did not negotiate because they were weak. They negotiated because they were merciful. And when pushed, they hunted with calm, beautiful, deadly accuracy. The Varellus Council chamber was silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The battlefield outside their world was frozen in place. Every Varellus ship disabled, every human ship unharmed, and every voice inside the command hall trembling from shock. General Karas, the proud warrior who once believed humans were too soft, now stood like a statue. His hands shook. Sweat rolled down his forehead. He could not understand how an entire fleet had fallen without a single casualty. Zelok looked at him with wide, fearful eyes. General, what have you done? Before Karas could reply, another alert echoed through the council hall. Incoming transmissions from neighboring star systems. Counselor Voreth stepped forward. Put them through. Different screens lit up across the room. Leaders from nearby civilizations appeared. Some reptilian, some insectoid, some mechanical, some plant-like. But every single one of them had the same expression. Fear. A robotic leader spoke first. We detected human hunter ships entering your sector. Is the rumor true? Did they disable your fleet? Zelok replied quietly. Yes, in minutes. Another leader leaned forward. Did humans attack you without reason? Boris shook his head. No. We attacked them. They only defended. The entire council of alien leaders fell silent. Across the galaxy, one truth was spreading faster than light. Humans were not peaceful because they were weak. Humans were peaceful because they were too powerful. A leader from the Talare collective whispered, if humans truly wished to conquer, who could stop them? Another responded, no one. On the human flagship. Inside the silent spear, Captain Mercer watched the alien transmissions through a transparent display. Multiple governments are watching, her tactical officer said. They fear escalation. Mercer nodded. That is the purpose. They must understand the danger of provoking us. She stood up and looked at her bridge crew. Prepare diplomatic channel Alpha 1. It is time to speak to the entire region. The crew executed the order calmly. No panic. No anger. Everything under perfect control. On her screen, the faces of 8 alien governments appeared at once. Mercer spoke with the same gentle voice as before. Leaders of the Varellus region, she began, we do not wish for war. But we will never allow an attack on our citizens or our ships. This was a defensive action. Nothing more. A reptilian leader asked, why did you spare the Varellus fleet? You could have destroyed them. Mercer answered simply, because they are not our enemies. They are only misinformed. Her tone was calm, almost teacher-like. Human voices were soft. But the silence after them was loud and terrifying. The galaxy tries to retreat. Across star systems, panic spread. Some governments pulled their ships away from human borders. Others shut down military patrols. Many sent urgent messages asking for peace treaties. Immediately, the galaxy finally understood something humans had known for centuries. When humans fight, they do not show chaos. They show precision. And precision is far scarier than rage. Inside the Virilis Council, General Karas finally spoke, but his voice was broken. We must retreat. All remaining ships must return to safe distance. Zelok stared at him. You just ordered them to attack. Now you want to run? Karas shook his head slowly. You do not understand. We never fought a war with humans. We only woke the hunters. Counselor Voreth whispered. If humans decide to strike back, our world will fall. But before fear fully consumed them, a new message appeared on the screen. Human transmission incoming. Everyone froze. Did humans plan to punish them? Did humans plan to finish the job? The screen lit up. Captain Mercer appeared again, calm, polite, almost gentle. Virilis Council, she said, our ships have disabled your fleet. But we will now withdraw from combat range. We offer you time to recover your ships safely. The council looked at her in disbelief. You are leaving? Zelok asked. Yes, Mercer answered. There is no purpose in further conflict. We have defended our people. That is enough. General Karas could not hold back his confusion. What? We attacked you. We aimed to destroy you. Yet you spare us. Mercer's calm voice held no anger, only clarity. Because humans strike only with purpose. Not with emotion. And we strike only as much as needed. Then the message ended. And the human ships truly began to pull back. One by one, they moved into formation and drifted away with silent discipline. The hunter fleet did not turn violently, did not show off power. They left quietly, politely, as if nothing had happened. But that made it even more frightening. The galaxy's realization. Alien leaders across the region watched the human ships retreat. One leader whispered, they could have destroyed us. All of us. Another added, and they chose to leave peacefully. Silence spread. And then, slowly, truth settled into every mind across the sector. Humans were not dangerous because they fought. Humans were dangerous because they chose not to. And choosing not to destroy an enemy meant they had the power to do it. The Virilis Council trembled. The galaxy trembled. And for the first time in centuries, they all asked the same question. If this is how humans strike politely, what happens when they stop being polite? The Virilis Council chamber felt colder than space itself. The human fleet had pulled back, but the fear they left behind stayed in every corner of the room. Counselor Zelok stood with trembling hands. They left, they actually left. General Karas finally fell into his chair, exhausted and defeated. They left because they chose to, not because we forced them. It was true. Humans had shut down an entire fleet in minutes, and then walked away as calmly as they had arrived. No demand. No threat. No show of power. Just one polite warning. Do not attack us again. But Karas knew the truth. If humans had wanted revenge, the Virilis homeworld would already be ash. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. Every major civilization received the same report. Human hunter fleet neutralizes Virilis armada in seconds. No casualties. No destruction. Only precision shut down. Humans retreat peacefully after total victory. Planet after planet reevaluated their perception of humanity. For centuries, aliens believed humans were emotional and unpredictable. Now they saw the truth. Humans had mastered their emotions. Humans had mastered their weapons. Humans had mastered war itself. And nothing was more frightening than someone who could fight perfectly and still chose peace. Inside the silent spear, on the human flagship, Captain Mercer stood silently before the large view window. Stars drifted by like quiet witnesses. Her second officer, Lieutenant Rhodes, approached. Captain, scans show Virilis ships are stabilizing. They are beginning recovery operations. Mercer nodded. Any hostile movement? None. Their weapons are offline. Engines offline. They are humbled. Mercer gave a small, sad smile. Humbled is better than dead. Rhodes hesitated before speaking again. Captain, do you think they understand the message? Mercer folded her hands behind her back. They understand one thing now. We do not want war. But we will not allow anyone to harm our people. She paused. And if the galaxy learns that, peace becomes easier. The Varela's last gamble. Back in the council room, panic was slowly turning into desperation. Counselor Voreth whispered, "If humans rise as a power, our alliances will collapse." Karaz looked at the floor. "We underestimated them. We thought politeness meant weakness." Zelok stepped forward. "General, if we do nothing now, the entire galaxy will bow to humanity in fear." Everyone turned to him. "What are you suggesting?" Voreth asked. "A final move," Zelok said softly. "We summon the Outer Dominion fleet." The room went silent. The Outer Dominion fleet was one of the largest military groups in the region, over 400 warships. They were old allies of the Varelis, known for one thing: brutal strength. General Karaz's eyes widened. "You want to call them here? To challenge humans?" Zelok nodded slowly. "Yes. If the Dominion joins us, maybe we can show the galaxy that humans are not undefeatable." Voreth slammed his fist on the table. "Are you insane? Humans disabled our fleet without trying." Zelok hissed. "And if we submit now, we will forever live under their shadow." The debate grew heated. Some wanted peace. Some wanted revenge. Some wanted to hide. Some wanted to fight. But in the end, fear made the decision. They sent the message. The Outer Dominion fleet was coming. Across the stars. The message reached human channels. Inside the silent spear, Lieutenant Rhodes looked up sharply. "Captain, new movement detected in the outer sector." Mercer turned toward him. "Explain." Rhodes swallowed. 400 Dominion warships preparing to jump into our location." The bridge went silent. Even humans felt the weight of that number. Mercer's eyes narrowed. "Are they coming to negotiate?" Rhodes shook his head. "No, Captain. They're coming to finish what Varela started." Mercer exhaled slowly. "Then prepare Stage 4. The bridge crew looked up, alert. Stage 4 was not defensive. Stage 4 was not a warning. Stage 4 was not disabling. Stage 4 was a level humans never used unless the entire region was at risk. Stage 4 meant total control of the battlefield. An end to the conflict. An unforgettable lesson. Mercer turned toward the window, watching distant stars. "If they want to see how humans strike politely, then we will show them. And after this, the whole galaxy will understand we are not the ones they should fear. We are the ones they should never provoke." The room became silent after the last note from the human message faded. The alien officers looked at one another, fear growing in their eyes. The strange, calm human voice still echoed in their heads. No threats. No shouting. No anger. Just a polite promise. A polite promise of destruction. Admiral Vorin forced himself to breathe. He stood up slowly, as if any sudden movement could attract human attention through the screen. What do they want from us?" one officer whispered. But Vorin already knew. Humans wanted balance. They wanted respect. And when someone crossed a line, humans did not argue. They acted. The Admiral cleared his throat. "Where is the probe of the human ship?" he asked. An officer scrambled at his console. "Here, sir. The scans are coming in." A live image appeared, a dark shape drifting in the edge of the system. At first it looked like a shadow. Then the lights on the alien bridge dimmed automatically. Because the energy from that ship was so strong, the systems reduced their own brightness to compensate. A cold shock passed through everyone. The ship was huge. Larger than any carrier the Zachary Empire had ever built. Its hull had no markings, no weapons visible. But that was what made it terrifying. Humans did not need to show weapons. Because everyone knew the weapons were inside. Slowly, the human vessel rotated, revealing a wide, glowing ring that hummed with power. The ring was quiet, calm, controlled, and deadly. "Sir, the energy reading, it is beyond battleship class." It is. The officer swallowed hard. "Admiral, it is dreadnought level." Whispers spread like fire in the room. "No. Impossible. A dreadnought? From humans?" They said humans were new to galactic war. Vorin stared at the screen. His hands shook, but he clenched them behind his back so no one would see. "They are not new," he said softly. "They just never needed to show their power." The lights on the blue ring brightened suddenly. The officers panicked. "Sir, the ship is charging something." But nothing happened. No attack. No beam. No missile. Instead, a soft blue wave traveled across space like a calm ripple over water. When the wave touched the Zachary flagship, their screens flashed with text. Translated message detected. Human language, standard galactic applied. A new message appeared. "We hope you are well. Please bring your forces to a safe distance. We do not wish to damage your ships accidentally. This is a peaceful operation. Peaceful. The most peaceful warning anyone had ever heard. Vorin felt sweat on his forehead. Humans were not arrogant. Humans were not loud. Humans were polite. So polite that the politeness itself felt like a knife. Because only a species confident in absolute power could speak like that. He whispered, "What operation?" Another officer checked his readings. His eyes widened in terror. "Sir, the humans are charging their main weapon. A gravity lance. Power levels rising. Target locked." Target? Vorin snapped. The officer swallowed. "Not us, sir." They locked onto the pirate moon. The entire bridge fell silent. The pirate moon, where Zachary criminals had been hiding for years. A dark place full of warlords. A threat humans had detected before even arriving. A place Vorin had avoided dealing with for political reasons. Now the humans were handling it for him. Politely. Another message arrived. "We apologize in advance for the noise." The alien officers stared at the screen. Humans were apologizing, before firing the strongest weapon anyone had ever seen. Vorin closed his eyes. "Everyone, prepare for shockwave." The blue ring on the human dreadnought expanded. Energy gathered like a star being born. Light shot forward, not a beam but a precise, thin line, controlled and silent. The pirate moon did not explode. It simply disappeared. Vaporized. Gone in a blink. No shockwave. No debris. Just silence. A soft voice came through the speakers again. "Operation complete. Thank you for your patience." The alien officers were pale. Some could not speak. Others stared at their hands as if reassessing their entire lives. Admiral Vorin looked at the screen, at the calm human dreadnought floating as if nothing had happened. He understood finally. Humans did not negotiate. Humans did not debate. They hunted. But they hunted with manners. And that was what made them terrifying.